This video is for people who are on the spiritual path and have found themselves quite sensitive around the times of the full moon, new moon, especially eclipses. You might feel a little bit more tired. I can almost guarantee you feel more sensitive emotionally, and also with this intuition that there's something going on. There's a process, some kind of transformation playing out in my life. And it can be sometimes challenging as things also speed up in your life and you're feeling out of sorts. And it can be kind of an intense process. And this video is to offer guidance for folks who relate with what I just said. I do these full moon updates and new moon updates where I share with you the different themes that are going on so you can get the most out of them, so you can have foresight and guidance through them, because these transformational periods are, like I'm going to talk about in a couple of minutes here, it's an opportunity to go through kind of a rebirth. And that's why you probably feel the way you do. I can't imagine a caterpillar feeling all that good, cocooning itself in that tight, dark little cavern. It's not fun. It's not fun to be stagnant in your life. It's not fun to feel like you're contracting, like you're just pent up with all this energy with nowhere to go. But that caterpillar probably knows it's going to be worth its time. It's going to be worth the experience. A lot of us don't know. A lot of us don't know where this is leading. I'm not saying I do know, but I kind of am. And I'm also saying you know as well. And you can look at these videos as a way of reawakening your own intuition, your own internal guidance, so that you can navigate through these themes, through the challenges, making the right choices at the right time, and seize the day and really reap the most out of it. Because these full moons, though intense, do offer an opportunity to really catapult you in a good way, in a way towards a better life, a life where you feel better, both emotionally, physically, spiritually, a life more of ease and grace, a life more of synchronicity and magic, where you attract people who you really vibe with, who really value you as who you truly are, and you have the abundance and even the material belongings that you deserve. And these rebirth periods are exactly that. They're part of that. So what I'm going to do in a moment here is share with you 3 of the more specific themes. I really haven't told you anything yet, but I wanted to let you know that if you relate to what I said, this video is for you, and I can promise you it's going to help you make the most out of this moon. And it's an honor to have you, my friend, and I welcome you to the channel. My name is Victor, and normally I make videos that help people navigate through their spiritual awakening process, and welcome. So as I said, theme number 1, rebirth period. One of the main things reminds me of, I was talking to my friend Aaron Dowdy, another YouTuber, you may know him, the other day we were talking, and he just got this cool tattoo of the Hanged Man tarot card. Not sure if you're into tarot, but there's this Hanged Man card depicting a person hanging upside down with kind of a serious look on their face, like they're contemplating something or thinking about something very important. But that's kind of the message right now. That's what you might be experiencing right now, where there's a part of you that might want to fight and control and try to figure things out. Where's my life going? Why is all this stuff happening? Why am I feeling this way? I want to know. But it's not time to know, and it's certainly not time to act or force things from a place of desperation, which is oftentimes how we get when we're kind of like forced into these like stagnant periods, when the name of the game is to do what it's depicted on that card, the Hangman card, to chill, to be, to reflect, to trust. And in this quietude that I know is difficult to carve out for yourself during the holiday season, I know you're busy. If you're like me, I got 3 wild kids, they're home from school, and it's not easy to carve out this time, but we can in our own way. There's a way to do it. It just takes a bit of effort. And even a little period of just quiet, just you and yourself, and you can hear your intuition. And even if there's nothing being said, which there might not be, maybe there's nothing to hear, but the more you can just sort of yield to this period, the faster it can kind of resolve itself. These are like spiritual, also energetic, vibrational types of upgrades and like reprogramming many of us are going through now on the planet. The planet is going through a crazy, wild, profound shift and transformation right now. And there's a lot of stuff happening within human beings that wasn't really the case in the past. And no one really told us. They're not telling you about it in school. Your parents probably aren't talking about it. You're not hearing about it on the news. And yet there are everyday people like yourself going through this experience, this ascension process. And I'm just telling you, I've been doing this for many years. What is a big part of it are these rebirth periods where it's time to like not do anything, even though you want to, because there's so many things up in the air and you're feeling so out of sorts. But the more you can just chill, the faster this upgrade can kind of take place. You don't really have to do anything, but just chill, wait it out in a way. And then when it's time to act, when it's time to know, when it's time to have clarity, you will. It'll be obvious. And that sense of spirit coursing through you, guiding you, fueling you, that you might wonder where it has gone, and you feel kind of abandoned by it, it'll come back. And if you can yield to these sort of hanged man phases, when it comes back, it's going to be stronger than ever before. You're going to be on fire. You're going to have so much energy and enthusiasm, you're not going to know what to do with it. You'll be almost like you're euphoric. And it's just kind of a waste of time and waste of energy to fight and struggle during these times when it's just time to chill. Because when we take time to chill and be quiet, healing can happen. A lot of what's blocking you, if you want to look at it like a block, a lot of what's in the way, a lot of what needs to be dealt with before you have the clarity, the forward momentum, etc., something from your past, something you're lugging around. And if we stay busy, if we keep trying to insist and force our way forward, we're never going to find out what that is. It's like we're dragging around, imagine a rope tied to your stomach with a heavy weight. You're dragging it around. And the universe is saying, listen, just stop for a little bit here, please, and just be, so you can look around and not have this tunnel vision of going, I need to go forward, and look back. Oh, even though you have to pause momentarily to untie the rope, it's faster if you do so, because then when you get going forward, there's no weight. So it's a good also time period to heal, to discover lost, fragmented, wounded parts of yourself that are trying to get your attention, trying to get you to acknowledge them through problems in your life, through unexpected emotional surges that come seemingly out of left field, through things not working, through clarity not coming, prayers not being answered, is saying, listen, it's not time for any of that, because you have a part of yourself that is the next step. The next step, if you really want to know and be clear, it's look within yourself. If you're not moving forward, there's probably something within you weighing yourself down. Well, take a look. If you take a look, you might be surprised. And that can be kind of a neat experience in itself, even though you're not maybe building businesses and climbing corporate ladder, whatever it is you want to do. It's an internal accomplishment that's available now, but it requires chilling out like that hanged man and being willing to look at those parts of yourself. There's a reason why those parts of ourselves have not been allowed into our conscious awareness for some time, because they are uncomfortable, because they make us think and feel a certain way about ourselves. And yet they're there, they're valid, they are part of you. I've had a lot of this coming up this last like several months, of just parts of myself that you could say I was hoping weren't true. Parts of myself that I was ashamed of. And unconsciously, for years, I successfully, to my own detriment, ignored them to the point where I created this illusion that they weren't there. And so long as I live my life in this certain way, I wouldn't have to feel those feelings. I wouldn't have to accept those parts of myself. And what do you think that did? That just caused me to become exhausted and spin my wheels, and no matter where I went or what I've done, what I've accomplished, what I've created, that void and those feelings and that sense of like inner conflict never went away. And until you deal with that, nothing matters. I don't care. You can get the dream house, the dream soulmate, the car, the job, whatever it is you think you want that's going to make you happy. I promise you, Unless you look within and cut the rope, it ain't gonna work. And the cool thing is if you look within and cut the rope, you realize all of a sudden these things you're working so hard for aren't even that important because you feel good, you feel relieved, you feel content, happy, reborn in the now. And yeah, you'll work, the new year will come and these energies will settle and you'll start going forward again and building things and creating things, but it won't be with this neediness. I need it to feel whole. It'll be from a place of confidence, a place of groundedness, a place of like you're just playing with reality for the time being and you don't need anything necessarily, but it's fun to do. You're sure you might as well do it. That kind of attitude. Number 2, contrary to what you're probably thinking right now, I wrote down divine assistance. Divine assistance usually in people's minds looks a certain way. Angels whispering sweet nothings into your ear, synchronicity, guidance in dreams. That is true. One that sometimes happens and it's fantastic when it does. But a lot of times divine guidance manifests itself in what seems like a huge problem. Or worse yet, a failure. Things not working out the way you thought. Sometimes we get these inspirations, and from this place of feeling like tapped into spirit, we have this foresight into our future, our destiny. And sometimes we draw these kind of false conclusions of what that future is supposed to look and feel like, and then we go about trying to create it, confident because when that idea came, we were so in the moment and so in the flow and so connected. Why wouldn't it come to pass? And then it can be very unexpected and very disappointing when you follow a dream and it leads you, at least so it seems, absolutely nowhere, into ruin, into failure, into setback. Why is this happening? This happened to me years ago. I shared about it recently on my email newsletter. I talked about I felt this calling to get onto YouTube as you see me here now. And the channel you're watching now is not the only channel I have. I have a lot of other channels, all of which have pretty much failed except this one. And one of the earlier ones, I had many names actually. It was called, at one point it was called Fit Mastery. It was a fitness channel. Currently is called The Sustainable Six Pack. And prior to getting onto YouTube, as some of you know who have been following me, I was a personal trainer, so it just made sense to me. I was good at that sort of vocation. I knew how to talk about it. I enjoyed it. I had a passion for it. I put a lot of hard work into that first YouTube channel, and it went absolutely nowhere. I probably put up maybe 100 videos, and it was very early on in my career, so I wasn't very good at editing, coming up with ideas, creating thumbnails, all the little technological components of what YouTubers need to learn at some point. It was new to me. So it took a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and a lot of vulnerability. I was so afraid of putting myself out there, but I did it. I did it anyway because I believed in my dream. I knew in my soul I'm meant to do this. So why do I keep failing? Why does this keep happening to me? Why would Spirit give me this belief and this vision of destiny just to, no matter what I did, not let it happen? So many times I wanted to give up. So many times I wanted to freaking destroy my computer. One time I even broke my camera out of that type of frustration, that type of feeling. Not only was it like a carrot was dangled in front of my face that I never could catch, but it was almost like, what does that say about me? That means I must suck at life. That means there must be something wrong with me. I must be a failure. All of this darkness, I'm telling you, is divine guidance. What? Crazy, Vic. Yes, that was divine guidance. If that channel never failed, you and I would not be chilling here today. You would not see this. This would not exist. There have been countless soul brothers and sisters I've met along my path that I never would have met. I would have probably never left Michigan. And since leaving Michigan, where I used to live at the time, I've traveled all over the country. I live in Texas now. I live in so many different places. I've had so many cool experiences. I've learned so much about myself, about life, about people. I've developed so many different qualities. I've tapped into whole other levels of myself that I had no idea even existed. There's so much I could be here all day trying to list it out for you, and I wouldn't even come close to hitting what I gained because I failed. Because Spirit was saying, this is not exactly how you get to where we were showing you previously. I know you're seeking not an outcome, a feeling, a vibration, a state of being, right? But the mind comes in and says, no, it's got to look this way. It must look this way. How could it not look this way? It makes sense on paper why it should look this way. Well, our mind is limited. Very, very limited. The Spirit anticipates all the things that we really want. It knows all the things that will truly allow us to not only reach our potential with whatever this idea is meant to become, but enjoy it to the fullest and be able to sustain it. There are some of the things I had to learn. It reminds me of another time, actually. It's kind of funny. After I watched the movie The Secret, like maybe you as well, if you're willing to admit it, I know a lot of people did this. Once you start to comprehend the fact that you can kind of intend for things and have them come into your life in physical form, what do you think I did? I mean, what did you do? Well, I tried to win the lottery is what I did. I had a vision board. I printed out these checks, and these checks that I wrote, $118 million made out to Victor Oddo on this date. And I'd play the lottery, and I'd get some of the numbers right, and I'd think I was on track. And I I'm embarrassed to admit how much effort I put in to winning the lottery because I thought I wanted that. I thought I needed that. What could be better? I even told myself, when I win, I'm going to support my entire family. I'm going to buy my mom a new car. I'm going to get them a house. I'm going to give to the poor. Oh, how wonderful, Victor. You deserve it, don't you? Well, what started to happen, I started getting these dreams of ideas of how to come into money kind of quickly. But it was off-putting to an extent because the dreams I was having were involving me doing things that I wasn't on board with. For example, I had this clear dream one night, and this is when I kind of changed directions. I had this dream where I saw I could loosen up one of the power lines in the back of my house and cause a huge fire, and then blame the city and then sue the city and get a whole bunch of money. That was what was kind of shown to me randomly, very clearly though, in this dream. And I saw it very clearly, you're gonna make an insurance claim and this money's gonna come. And I woke up initially thinking, oh, that's how I'll do it. But then once I came to my senses, it was that's not cool. That's dangerous. I'm not gonna start a fire. I'm not gonna do any of this stuff. I don't align with that at all. And then as that started to kind of happen, what that was showing me is how much momentum I was through sheer willpower creating in this direction that was not at all ideal for me and certainly not ideal for the whole. And I started to get this intuition that, you know what, maybe there's a better way. It might take longer. Maybe if I was to just win all this money, I wouldn't become the person I meant to become. I wouldn't reach and touch the people I was meant to reach and touch. I wouldn't have the experiences, the life experiences that would teach me and help me grow. It would just be given to me on a silver platter. So I look at that like divine guidance, divine assistance saying there's something better for you. And that's why you're stuck. That's why this thing's not working. It's not because you're not meant to do it. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because there's a way better way of doing it. I say that because it heavily relates to this rebirth period, my friend. Be patient. Learn what you can. And just know it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's a matter of when you find the perfect path. And your higher self is going to block you until such time. Don't settle. And finally, number 3, a new way of life is being asked of you at this point. And it's tricky. You're probably finding, I can almost guarantee you're finding that doing things the way you were taught, doing life the way most people do is not at all working for you. It's bringing about almost instant imbalance in your life, whether it's through physical fatigue, whether it's through this internal anguish, like it does not feel right, or it's also probably not working. And what I'm talking about is too much forcing, too much controlling, too much planning, too much mind, too much will, too much personal striving for personal gain. What's being asked of us, not really asked of us, but it's almost like an opportunity through contrast of what's no longer working. It's that maybe we'll realize there's a new way of going through life. And this new way is not new to you, really. It's something you've been telling yourself probably for years. This an intuition that always says, like, you always just know what you need to know at the time you need it. That's from Bashar, just to be honest. I paraphrase, but it's a quote. We always know what the right move is. And sometimes our knowing says to us that now is not the time to know. Just be. You don't have to worry. You don't have to stress. You don't have to strain. Just be. It's a time when, if you allow your creative forces to take the reign, we'll say, you'll be able to do and create things for yourselves that are so far beyond what you even think is possible. You might have this idea in your mind of what a best case scenario is, but it's like there's a wiser, older, more badass, ancient force within you that says, listen, little child, I know you think this is the best you can do, but it's not. You have no idea who you are. You have no idea how capable you are. You have no idea some of the soul experiences that are about to come through and assist you at this time. You have no idea how much support you have. You have no idea how good it could be. But the only way to see that as your reality is to really forego that old way of living. And the old way of living is, listen, if you want to build a business, what do you got to do? Write it all down. You make a plan. Here's your business model, and you do it. You work hard and you do it no matter what. And what you're running into is you might do a little bit of that. And once you do step 1, you check it off. Step 2, great. Step 3, you're stuck. It's not working. You're reevaluating everything. You're wondering if you're even on the right path. And then the old way is just to go through anyway. Do 3, do 4, do 5, do 6, do 7. Most people do that. And you know what happens when they get to the end of their list? 20 years have gone by and they wake up one day and realize this is not who I am. This is not what I want, but now I'm really stuck. You're getting that sort of internal feedback right from the get-go. And it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to think, like to formally be making progress and thinking, oh, this is smooth sailing, things are going good, and then boom, you run into a wall and you're cut up and you're bloody and you're wondering what the hell's going on, and you can't see a way around the wall initially, and it feels like you're stuck. It feels like this wall's got to get moved. But the wise are learning to like use the wall and sometimes even anticipate the wall. You can start to feel things contracting before you hit the actual wall. And instead of being too much in a rush to control or too fixated on the outcome, you can step back, you can wait, you can trust, go for a walk, I'll play with my kids. I know the way will come to me, but it might not be in this exact moment. Why? Because it doesn't need to come in this exact moment. Because maybe if it comes tomorrow afternoon, I'll have learned something new about myself and have this other idea to combine with it to make the direction be able to actually appear or to be carried out in a much better way. I don't know. But the good news is we don't have to keep up with any of that. We just have to kind of flow with life, feel into it, becoming so obvious. If a situation, if a way you're doing something, if a person is or is not in alignment, it's obvious. And just because something's not doesn't mean it never will be. It just means that we go to the hangman. It's time to step back and wait. And if we do that during these times where we can step back and wait, we can enjoy life. We can relax. We can have fun. We can smell the roses. We can be grateful. We can laugh with our friends. You don't have to work so hard when we work smart, when our actions are inspired and aligned. It's a new way of life, and no one's taught us. We're learning through trial and error, lots of trials. But it's the only way now. And luckily, it's the better way. It allows time again to enjoy life. It allows the best path to manifest itself without the need of exhausting yourself in controlling and working with everything, trying to control everything. And I'm just learning this. I'm not trying to preach to you guys. This is something I'm learning right now as of kind of recently. I've mentioned this, I think, in my last update video. I talked about this program I've been trying to create, this coaching program that has been in my mind for about a year. And I was stuck with it until recently. And the reason I was stuck is because I was insisting on it looking a certain way. And I couldn't even figure out how to make it look that way necessarily. So I felt stuck. And now what's been happening is I've been finding myself just, when I'm kind of at peace and relaxed, just a natural desire, a natural childlike creative energy washes over me. And it feels like it would be really fun and enjoyable to work on this thing. And from this place, things are happening very smoothly, very effortlessly. People that need to help me are just literally popping into my life. It's crazy, the synchronicity and the support. And then there are times where I get stuck. But instead of trying to force it, I'm just stepping back, being patient, trusting, and then a better way presents itself. And it's been kind of going in that pattern for quite some time. And it just feels, it's becoming something beyond me. And that's how a lot of us could be living. That's how we're being taught to live. And it's hard because no one taught you this, and it's hard because no one else does this. Living this way might, in fact, look irresponsible to the onlooker who doesn't know any better. People might think what you're doing is wishy-washy. You keep changing your mind. You keep doing this. What's the matter with you? It's like, no, I'm just kind of know what it feels like when something's in alignment, and I haven't felt that yet. I thought I did, yeah, but now it's not there. So I'll know it when it's there. You'll know it when it's there. Don't worry about what other people are thinking. Don't worry about what your mind is saying. Don't worry about where you think you need to be in life. That's a big one. Well, because a lot of us are going through this like in our middle age and finding ourselves like redoing all aspects of our life, starting from scratch. And then we get down on ourselves thinking I should be further along. I should know all this stuff. No, I should be more established. And it's like, well, yeah, says who? Who's to say? What's established? What your neighbors are doing, they on paper, they're established. Inside, they're miserable. You get to have both, but you have to do it in a new way. And the new way is obvious. It's trying to work its magic in your life right now through divine assistance, through these transformations that do require a rebirthing process, through all this stuff no one warned you about, but nonetheless is happening. And all you have needed all along is what you've always had, which is your own internal compass, your own internal intuition that has clicked on from the very beginning of this entire journey. And it will always be there with you. It'll always be guiding you. You just have to trust it. You got to start listening to it. And that's how you rock out this new way of life and live a completely amazing life. It's available to you. Before I go, my friend, if you do feel stuck in this rebirth period and you want some help clearing out some of that stuck energy, there's something I've taken many people through. It's a process called somatic release breath work. It's a lot more powerful than it sounds. It's not breathing to calm your nerve. It's breathing to release. It's breathing to transform. It's breathing to connect. It's a ceremony. And it's free. I'm giving it away for this video. I'm gonna leave a link down below. You just put in your email. It'll be mailed to you. You watch the video, carve out some time for yourself if you're laying down, and just follow my guidance, and you will have an experience, a healing experience, an experience with the divine. It's very powerful, and it's my gift to you. Happy holidays, my friends. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Much love.